Hey, Tool Views. Today I'm going to try something a little bit different. I've got a Bayliner. It's an older Bayliner. It's got a lot of dings and chips in the front. So instead of going around the boat with just heavy cut and perfect it, I thought I'd just save some time and use 3M's Super Duty rubbing compound. Let me show you how that's done. Hey, real quick, I would like you guys to consider using a respirator or a face mask, goggles, perhaps even some latex gloves when you're dealing with this stuff. None of it is healthy for you. I've been dealing with it for 15 years and I figure live by the sword, die by the sword. So you don't see me wearing or using any protective gear. But if you're new to this, or especially if you're sensitive to it, if you have asthma or any sort of anything that has to do with respiratory illness or troubles, please wear a respirator, use goggles, use a mask, or better yet, quite honestly, just hire somebody. You don't need to be doing this on your own. Anyway, I'm going to let you get back to the show. Hey, one last thing before we get too deep into this. If you're curious, I do teach a class on this. In fact, I've taught classes in this since 2009, and I've taught a lot of people how to do it. So, if you're interested at all, hit me up. I'll give you a hand. I find that the Super Duty works best when it's a little bit wet, so if it starts to dry out and I have some extra Super Duty, like right here, I'll wet out my wheel and drag it over some things that I wanted to work on again. And after this was my first pass, I think there's a couple little spots that I saw that weren't 100% out, and I'll point those out to you in just a second. I'll go ahead and hit those again, but I like to make a mental note. There's a couple, there's one, there's one. So I'll just hit it again, no big deal.
Now it is not perfect, okay? I talked about some other compounds earlier. You know that they're here. They're going to get used, but not bad, right? I mean, there's still some stuff in there. But here's what it looks like from eye level at my size and scale. So there's what we were working with. I think you guys recall that. There's some deep scratches. I don't know if you can hear it. No, probably not. But they're little dings and stuff from hitting the trailer and whatnot. And if you don't want to wet sand those, don't wet sand those. And you can get them out. And it doesn't take all that long. little bit of time, and then you come back over this with some heavy cut. And that color that bled down here, this isn't permanent. This is just, compound smegma.
All right, and if you stay tuned, I will be finishing this boat probably tomorrow, which means that I'll have it all edited, maybe a day and a half. This boat has some neglect. It's got some pretty nasty oxidation. I don't know if it's ever been actually waxed. I'll be using Heavy Cut by 3M. I'll be using Perfected EXAC by 3M. I'll be cleaning the boat, and then I'll be waxing it, polishing it, sealing it, protecting it. So if you come back in a couple days, this is going to be my next project, and I'll show you everything I did. In the meantime, I'm going to take some of that Super Duty compound and just go down this boat, and anytime I see a giant scratch, gouge, ding, anything like that, I'm going to save myself some time and just touch on those very specific spots. There's one, there's a couple more further down you go. And this is just going to save me time down the road. So after that, come back over it with some Heavy Cut, come back over that with some Perfected EXAC, and should look pretty good. But we'll find out tomorrow. So, like I said, join me in the next day or two. This boat will be taken care of. I'll show you all the steps that it took to get to there. And if you're lucky, I might get ambitious. And when I'm doing the back here, I'll even do the little lettering on the non-skid and the swim step that says Capri. That's kind of interesting. It's just a little thing, kind of a bonus for the owner. Anyway, thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comment section. You can always send me an email, alwayswithacoke@hotmail.com. That's alwayswithacoke@hotmail.com. ALWAYSWITHACOKE@hotmail.com. Anyway, I answer most of my comments and questions. Here again is the scratches and the dings, and that's one side compared to the other. So if you wanted a wet sand, you're more than welcome to. I'm not going to stop you. I just think that this is a way more efficient way to do this, and as a guy who does this for a living, efficiency is kind of the name of the game. If you're not efficient, you're just wasting your time and your money, and who likes to do that? I'd rather save time and make more money. So anyway, that's why I show you this stuff. It's not the only way to do this. An absolute professional would probably take this down to, 5 different layers of wet sanding. Then they would compound. I ain't got time for that. I got a whole Saturday to play with, and I don't want to waste it by doing that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Get out there and try something.